90-Day Fiancé, Sarper Güven brags about 2,500 exes, the other way star thinks he's God's gift. 90-Day Fiancé star Sarper Güven is a walking red flag as he constantly mentions his previous affairs and boasts about the number of women he slept with. It looks like we have some serious red flag sightings here with Sarper Güven. The personal trainer made waves after he appeared on the reality show following his romantic connection with esthetician Shekinah Garner. Their relationship has become a concern for many after Güven showed signs of a lack of commitment. Güven and Garner debuted in 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way Season 5, and their status went from a casual affair to a serious relationship. While they have continued to resolve problems that come along the way, Güven is somehow displaying tacky behavior which many do not approve of, including Garner's family. Sarper Güven believes his bad boy charm would make Shekinah Garner cry for years. Sarper Güven and Shekinah Garner got engaged in 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way Season 6, and many hoped that things would become better for them. The makeup artist also filed for her fiancé's K-1 visa so she could take him to the United States for their wedding ceremony. Güven was initially hesitant to move away from Turkey as he had already established a comfortable life in his home, but for his love for Garner, he would do everything. This sounds quite romantic, and any girl would certainly swoon, but not until Güven started displaying trashy behavior. No, he's a certified bad boy, but when you're in a serious relationship, you exert effort to change for the better. Güven, however, consistently talks about his numerous past affairs and even takes pride in sleeping with 2,500 women. Not only does this paint a bad look on him, but it also is very disrespectful to his partner. Let's not forget the time they argued and Güven accidentally pulled out Garner's hair extension. Clearly, if this action isn't telling he's got some anger issues to resolve, then we don't know what will. His fragile ego also compelled him to threaten Garner, "If we break up, you will cry for years for me," via 90-Day Fiancé's Instagram page. His arrogance makes him believe he is God's favorite child and that a successful woman like Garner would pine for him for a long time. At this point, she should have seen all the massive red flags waving above Güven's head. Perhaps it's time to rethink that marriage. Shekinah Garner reveals relationship problems on social media. Garner answered a couple of questions about her situation with Güven on Instagram, and it seems like they are really on an unsteady beat. One fan asked if she was going through a rough patch with her partner, and she surprisingly responded that we might not see them again in the next seasons. Another asked if they were both fine, and Garner remarked that nothing about their relationship was easy. She also revealed that Güven has not calmed down ever since they moved to the US. Hopefully, things will get better for the couple, and Güven will work on improving himself to be a better partner for Garner. Shekinah Garner from 90-Day Fiancé is revealing whether she and Sarper Güven are still together after confessing to marriage problems at the tell-all. Shekinah from Los Angeles and Sarper from Turkey met on a dating app ahead of their The Other Way Season 5 debut. Shekinah traveled to and from Istanbul several times before Sarper proposed to her, and the couple filed for his K-1 visa. Sarper arrived in America in 90-Day Fiancé Season 11, and that's where most of their relationship problems began. Sarper reluctantly married Shekinah and, at the tell-all, admitted he regretted it. Shekinah has been eagerly answering fans' questions in real life, letting them know her relationship status with Sarper now. Shekinah conducted a Q&A session on Instagram recently. One of her followers asked Shekinah, via 90-Day Fiancé_Alexa, about her and Sarper. They hoped that Sarper and Shekinah would still be together, and it lasts forever. They told Shekinah not to let anyone bring her down. Shekinah shared a sweet selfie with Sarper and their pet dog as a response. She also told the fan, "Thank you," suggesting she liked them complimenting her marriage to Sarper. What Shekinah confirming relationship status with Sarper means. Sarper and Shekinah's marriage hit a breaking point early on. Sarper was unhappy with his new life in America, mostly because he felt restricted and controlled by his partner. He was used to a playboy lifestyle back home, which he gave up for Shekinah out of love. However, Shekinah still had trust issues. She even tagged his location using an AirTag hidden in his car keychain. Sarper also got cold feet thinking about his first marriage, which had quickly ended in divorce. During the tell-all, it had been 4 months since the couple's wedding. On Christmas Day, Sarper took off his wedding ring and left it on a table in their apartment. When asked why, he explained that Shekina had kicked him out, and he spent 10 days living in a rental, less than a month after their wedding. At the tell-all, Shekina admitted, "I feel like he doesn't truly love me if he can so easily get up and leave." She wanted unity in their marriage, but felt disconnected. However, a recent selfie Shekina posted with Sarper suggests their relationship has improved since that difficult moment. Our take on Shekina and Sarper repairing their marriage after tell-all. What's next for Shekina and Sarper after a rocky start? Shekina told the cameras that her biggest fear had come true, as everything changed after she and Sarper got married. In April 2025, she also shared her feelings on social media, stating that she had no plans to return to the franchise. Her comments sparked rumors that she and Sarper might appear on The Last Resort next, given the intensity of their relationship issues. For now, the couple seems to have resolved their problems without therapy, but it remains to be seen what's next for the controversial 90-Day Fiancé pair. Sarper Güven and Shekinah Garner from 90-Day Fiancé revealed if they're heading to 90-Day The Last Resort next, since hinting at a divorce. Sarper is from Istanbul, Turkey, and met Shekina from Los Angeles on a dating app. While Sarper had been married before, he had never been in love. Sarper slept with more than 2,500 women, but Shekina became his first girlfriend. At first, Sarper was the controlling one in the relationship. When he came to America, the tables turned. Shekina started tracking Sarper, who, in turn, felt like he was depressed and losing his independence. Sarper almost didn't marry Shekina. They revealed they had marriage issues even after their iconic 90-Day Fiancé bedding. Sarper and Shekina seemed ready to end their relationship. Sarper and Shekina seemingly got a happy ending at the tell-all, but things are not going well between them in real life. Sarper and Shekina had a chat with Swoon where they discussed what's happened since their decision to get therapy, which they revealed at the tell-all. Shekina confirmed that their next goal as a couple would be to get therapy. "We've had a few sessions," Shekina confessed. "We need more, for sure, but at least we started, you know? It's almost like dating." Shekina spoke about Sarper being resistant to getting therapy at first, but finally agreeing to it was the biggest thing. She admitted that it was hard for them to find a good therapist. She compared it to going on a lot of first dates and finding one that's a good fit. Without revealing the found a good one and that they need to talk to him more often. What Sarper and Shekina going to therapy means for relationship. Why Sarper's commitment issues still haunt his marriage with Shekina. Shekina and Sarper share strong, similar personalities that often clash, especially when one wants to change something in the relationship. They had even tried therapy before getting married. However, Sarper, who saw himself as the alpha in the relationship, was hesitant. In his culture, therapy is often seen as a sign of weakness for men, and maintaining a sense of masculinity is deeply important to them. However, Shekina stood her ground when it came to getting Sarper to shed his bad boy image. She successfully influenced his mindset, helping him grow and mature within the relationship. Still, her constant emphasis on being the one making all the sacrifices began to backfire. Sarper pulled away, and his renewed fear of commitment left Shekina feeling frustrated and disappointed. Shekina felt that Sarper wasn't taking responsibility in their relationship. However, recent updates suggest he's now taking his career as a personal trainer and comedian more seriously. He's even open to couples therapy, showing he genuinely cares about Shekina, and no longer sees their marriage as temporary. Sarper draws inspiration from his parents, who have been married for over 45 years. Our take on Sarper and Shekina's therapy update. Why Shekina and Sarper chose therapy over happily ever after. Shekina and Sarper should ideally have been featured in the next season of Happily Ever After. However, going to therapy instead shows that their marriage has hardly seen any happy days since the bedding. Things have taken an interesting turn in the pair's lives compared to other 90-day fiancé couples. It remains to be seen if the couple's therapy sessions manage to help fix whatever's broken between them. Sarper Güven and Shekinah Garner from 90 Day Fiancé left their home in Los Angeles to embark on a new trip across the United States. The couple was recently featured in 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, where they faced several challenges on the road to marriage. Just a month after their unconventional wedding ceremony, their relationship began to deteriorate. During the 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 tell-all, Sarper and Shekinah admitted that they were no longer getting along, with Sarper confessing that he didn't enjoy being married. They had multiple heated arguments on and off camera, leading many fans to believe they might end up divorced. Despite the challenges, Sarper and Shekinah have managed to keep their relationship strong and recently revealed that they are happy together, dismissing any speculation of a possible divorce. Shekinah and Sarper have started to enjoy their marriage and recently embarked on a new travel adventure. Shekinah shared some beautiful pictures with Sarper from their escapade. In the caption, she expressed, "Love exploring the US with you." When an Instagram user, @itsbeckyboop, asked, "Where are you guys?" Shekinah excitedly responded, "Utah." Although Sarper enjoyed the trip, which involved fishing, he mentioned, "Sarper and Wild was fun, but I think I'm more a city guy." What Shekinah and Sarper's Utah adventure means for relationship. Shekinah and Sarper want to create beautiful new memories. Shekinah and Sarper have always had a troubled relationship. Although they appear to love each other, they have distinctly different personalities. Sarper is perceived as a controlling partner, while Shekinah appears self-centered and sometimes struggles to understand Sarper's needs, including the sacrifice he made by leaving his family in Turkey to move to the United States. They were unable to have any meaningful discussions during the tell-all due to their tendency to argue. Shekinah even suggested that only therapy could improve their relationship. However, things seem to have improved for them since then. Shekinah and Sarper have rekindled their bond and seem excited about their future together. This getaway to Utah shows that they are committed to reconnecting with each other after experiencing rocky moments in 90 Day Fiancé Season 11. They are ready to move past the drama and escape the everyday stress in Los Angeles by seeking solace in nature in Utah. This vacation may represent a fresh start for the couple, as they create new memories and leave their past drama behind. Our take on Shekinah and Sarper bonding after relationship troubles. Shekinah and Sarper seem determined to salvage their relationship. Viewers witnessed Shekinah and Sarper constantly arguing during the 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 tell-all, sparking rumors that they might decide to break up. However, the couple's recent trip to Utah has made it clear that they aren't giving up on each other and are committed to working on their relationship. Shekinah and Sarper want to show that their love will endure despite the odds, and they don't want to be seen as a doomed couple. By traveling together, the 90 Day Fiancé couple hopes to resolve their conflicts and show how happy they can be as a couple. There is one 90 Day Fiancé couple whose marital trouble claims aren't adding up. 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 just wrapped up, and Shekinah Garner and Sarper Güven's marriage was in a very hot and cold place. Shekinah and Sarper were originally featured in 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way Seasons 5 and 6, when the pair were trying to figure out what they wanted their future to look like. After realizing being in Turkey was not going to work for them full-time, Shekinah and Sarper applied for the K-1 visa, and Sarper landed in America in fall 2024. Sarper had a lot of difficulty adjusting to being in America without work and family, and his and Shekinah's past issues of mistrust, quick-to-anger moments, and miscommunications continued. Despite which, the pair decided to get married. However, when they showed up to the Season 11 tell-all, they had a lot of resentment towards one another. Sarper had moved out for 10 days, less than a month after their wedding. They spent the night before the tell-all in separate rooms, and Shekinah spent Christmas alone. However, they may be putting up a false front. Sarper doesn't rely on Shekinah in America. Shekinah said Sarper has more assets than her. Shekinah and Sarper were painting an interesting financial picture leading up to 90 Day Fiancé Season 11. The pair had an agreement that Sarper would pay for Shekina's trips to Turkey, since she was doing all the traveling. However, it was unclear how Sarper afforded that given he is only a fitness instructor and lost half his clientele when Shekina said he couldn't train females. On Shekina's side, she came off as very rich because she was able to afford plastic surgeries, put her daughter through boarding school, and live a lavish-looking LA lifestyle. But during 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, when Shekina and Sarper were talking to Shekina's friends and the idea of a prenup came up, there was some alarming news. Shekina said a prenup would be wise, but Sarper was very against it. Shekina protested that a prenup would help Sarper too, since he had more assets than her. So in Season 11, when Sarper says he is relying on Shekina, it doesn't really make sense. It seems like the dynamic and portrayal they are trying to show is not entirely accurate when it comes to their finances and how they arrange them. Sarper being a divorcee was convenient news. Sarper said he never loved anyone but Shekina. Even though Shekina and Sarper had been on 2 seasons of The Other Way, there was a huge piece of news that fans didn't find out until Season 11. The pair had previously dropped the bomb that Sarper had a child that he never saw, and that Sarper wanted a child with Shekina. However, that storyline and huge conversation were dropped in favor of a different narrative. In Season 11, Sarper divulged that he had been married before. Usually, that means someone is in love, but Sarper has sworn up and down that he's only ever loved Shekina. Sarper being a divorcee was convenient news because it added another layer to his and Shekina's drama. It almost seemed fabricated since Sarper being a player before Shekina was an idea that heavily pushed between the pair. So when Shekina and Sarper detail their marital problems, it's hard to tell whether they are setting the optics up to echo how Sarper felt about his first divorce, which was that he regretted it. Sarper and Shekina were spotted with Sarper's parents. Things are better than they're letting on. Another reason why Sarper and Shekina might be fooling 90 Day Fiancé fans is because, during the tell-all, they came back together in a mushy way after an ugly fight when Sarper gave Shekina an overdue sizable wedding ring. The gesture seemed planned and is suspect considering how much disdain they had for one another shortly before that moment. Moreover, Shekina and Sarper were recently spotted by a 90 Day Fiancé fan, via u/Polish Snake 2 on Reddit, with Sarper's parents. The foursome were stateside as they were catching a flight from Miami to LA. Things must be better than they are letting on if Sarper's parents, whom he is very close to, were able to come to America and visit the pair. The 90DF alumni couple seem to inflate their issues on screen, when things aren't in peril in real life. Sarper and Shekina want to retain the 90 Day Fiancé spotlight. Which show is in their future next? Shekina and Sarper could have an angle to the tactic of high-emotion drama on screen versus a relatively normal life off-screen. They could be trying to retain their 90 Day Fiancé spotlight by coming up with new angles and dynamics in their relationship that lead them to have strong reactions that draw viewers. With their alleged marital problems, Shekina and Sarper could be gearing up to try and be cast on the 90 Day, The Last Resort spin-off, which is a therapy-style show. Shekina is also no stranger to reality TV, as she was previously on Baggage and Millionaire Matchmaker, so her goal may be to retain her celebrity. Moreover, there were rumors that Shekina, Sarper, and her family would get their own spin-off, as her family had a Kardashian-like vibe. In any case, Sarper and Shekina may be trying to present themselves as authentically as they can, and they have as many wild problems as they portray. However, there are certain things that happen on screen versus in real life that don't add up. The 90 Day Fiancé franchise gives many cast members with played-out and predictable storylines screen time after time, and Sarper and Shekina, regardless of their authenticity, may be one of them. Shekinah Garner from 90 Day Fiancé is revealing whether she and Sarper Güven are still together after confessing to marriage problems at the tell-all. Shekina from Los Angeles and Sarper from Turkey met on a dating app ahead of their The Other Way Season 5 debut. Shekina traveled to and from Istanbul several times before Sarper proposed to her, and the couple filed for his K-1 visa. Sarper arrived in America in 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, and that's where most of their relationship problems began. Sarper reluctantly married Shekina and, at the tell-all, admitted he regretted it. Shekina has been eagerly answering fans' questions in real life, letting them know her relationship status with Sarper now. Shekina conducted a Q&A session on Instagram recently. One of her followers asked Shekina, via 90-day Fiancé _Alexa, about her and Sarper. They hoped that Sarper and Shekina would still be together, and it lasts forever. They told Shekina not to let anyone bring her down. Shekina shared a sweet selfie with Sarper and their pet dog as a response. She also told the fan, "Thank you," suggesting she liked them complimenting her marriage to Sarper. What Shekina confirming relationship status with Sarper means. Sarper and Shekina's marriage hit a breaking point early on. Sarper was unhappy with his new life in America, mostly because he felt restricted and controlled by his partner. He was used to a playboy lifestyle back home, which he gave up for Shekina out of love. However, Shekina still had trust issues. She even tagged his location using an AirTag hidden in his car keychain. Sarper.